Service providers to enhance community tourism through training in brand development. One union leader says a trade union congress will never materialize unless today's unions learn from history and correct past decisions. And 13 prison inmates write their CXC exams as part of a new set of prison reform initiatives. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details after this. First up, tourism service providers are thinking of ways they can enhance the delivery of locally made products to enhance community tourism. They recently took part in a workshop on brand development hosted by the Dominica Community Tourism Association. The Layu Improvement Committee was among the participating groups.
It is caught, and then for now it is packaged in short term. So we do packaging, but we sell almost immediately. Now, what we would like to do is to be able to package titiri on a long-term basis so that people can have it for longer periods and that it can be shipped to international countries and regional countries to also promote Layu. But we don't want to put any preservatives in the titiri because it might spoil the product itself. But we also have smoked titiri, so that in itself is a longer lifespan. We have the cooked titiri again, but that is a shorter lifespan. So we have to explore different avenues, different ways that we can extend its life, first of all, and have the proper packaging that will allow it to be used efficiently and to use it as a brand for the community of Layu, because that's what Layu is known for, and along with the Titiwi Festival.
Leontine Bellot manufactures soaps and processes coconut oil from her home.
The workshop is going to benefit me in the fact that I will be able to find a proper way of packaging, because of course you do the stuff, but then you need to have proper packaging in order to get it out there. Although I don't really need that. I have a good clientele, but to go much further, I do need the packaging, and it looks nice. I have different soaps. Well, most of my soaps, the base product is coconut oil, and then you have olive oil, safflower oil, avocado oil, which is for healing. All of my products have health beneficial use.
Bellot is also looking to reap major returns from the coconut oil industry.
Demand is high. Supply is low because I need machinery. I haven't really got machinery, so I have to do it manually. And had I got machinery, I'd be able to do a lot more. But in the future, I believe I will get machinery as soon as I can.
In other news, the leadership of some trade unions here have come under fire from Prime Minister Skerrit for what the Prime Minister says is unions playing politics with the lives and livelihood of Dominican workers. He stopped short of naming names, but here is the Prime Minister speaking on the issue at Sunday's rally in Portsmouth.
They did not succeed with the anti-CBI campaign, so they are now relying on their friends in the leadership of some trade unions in this country to do their dirty work for them. They want their allies in the trade unions to destabilize the country, to shut it down, to call out the workers on strike, to once again portray Dominica as sliding down the governance scale, as being unstable, as being ungovernable. These failed political wannabes now want the trade union operatives to take on the government and bring the type of commerce and confusion that failed to materialize with the anti-CBI campaign.
Mr. Skerrit accuses some of the trade union leaders of being political party operatives, even if he says they are afraid to run for office.
I am saying to some individuals this evening that I know you by name and partisan color. The leadership of this country knows you and will demand professional conduct from you at all times. When you come to speak to the government on the legitimate business of the union, leave your partisan politics at the door.
The Prime Minister said his target was what he called political operatives who have positioned themselves in the trade union movement. He said his government was on the side of the workers, guaranteeing employment and paying salaries on time.
We have spared the workers in this country the pain of burdensome taxation. Hurricane after hurricane, disaster after disaster, we have had to rebuild this country, and not once have I asked workers to bear more of a load than they can reasonably carry. So I am not intimidated by the rants and threats. All I will say to the workers of this country is, be mindful of who has your back and who is using you to further their own raw, naked political ambition.
And speaking of unions, while the talk of a trade union congress has simmered down following Labor Day celebrations on the 1st of May, one union remains convinced that the congress cannot come to pass unless we look at our history and take corrective action on some decisions made in the past. General Secretary of the Dominica Trade Union, Bernard Nicholas, while supporting the idea of a trade union congress, says members would have to be committed to the planning and effort involved in making the congress a reality.
A trade union congress is not necessarily the best thing, but it's a very good thing. In fact, people speak of a trade union congress as though it is a panacea. The trade union congress is not a panacea because it's another organization. It has to be registered as a trade union. It's another union, but it's an umbrella union, like the CSA was an umbrella union of 5 unions. That's something people don't know. The teachers, the nurses, the firemen, the prison officers, and civil servants union, 5. In 1960, they came together to form the Civil Service Association.
His main concern regarding the Trade Union Congress is the Civil Service Association, which he says has not yet been dissolved.
So that's another thing I'm looking at, and I want the government to look at that. Because the CSA, to my mind, is not dissolved. According to the Act, it tells you what it has to do. Chapter 120 of the Laws of Dominica, Trade Union and Trade Dispute Ordinance. Now, if it's dissolved, then all the unions are free to go away. If they want to form a PSU, they can form a PSU. But CSA has to go away. It has to be dissolved. The assets and liability of the CSA has to be dealt with according like any company. That is dissolved. And whatever the residue has to be divided among the members.
Nicholas believes that moving forward, the law needs to be looked at carefully to determine the status of the various trade unions.
So if the CSA was not properly dissolved, then the PSU is not legally constituted. But I'm not saying it's not. I'm just showing what the law says. And if it has been deregistered, because an application must be made to deregister the CSA so that the PSU can go. Now, as a union, the PSU has to make a claim for recognition. And there must be a poll. And there's no poll. So these are the things that we have to bear in mind. Okay, so when you're making a big noise and so on, they have to know what the law is.
And head of the prison service, Kenrick Jean-Jacques, says a new set of prison reform initiatives are ongoing at the state prison, and Tuesday was a historical documentation of one of them. This as 13 inmates of the state prison sat the English ACXE exams, and another, who was recently released, wrote the exam as a private candidate. Acting Superintendent Jean-Jacques spoke to Channel 5 News on the site of the exams at the Dominica State College.
Well, we've always had the adult education coming to the prison and doing adult literacy classes. So we've had this relationship with them for a very long time. But this time we've had a cadre of inmates that we felt could move to the next level. So we had discussions with adult education, and we felt that we should continue to this level, and thus we're here today. So we had some students that didn't complete secondary school. So after we look at all the students that we had, we selected that group.
Jean-Jacques says this first-time feat is part of ongoing reforms at the prison since he took over in August of 2016.
We're trying to impart skills, whether trade skills or educational skills, to the inmates that come through our doors. Like I said before, we would like to stop break the cycle, rather, of the revolving door where inmates just come and go. So if we empower them today, hopefully that would stick with them, and they would be able to make meaningful contribution upon their release from prison. I cannot take credit for everything because my predecessors, they did quite a bit of work. So Mr. Blanc, I can call. He was instrumental in having us where we are today. It's just that he's not here now, but I just have to continue.
Jean-Jacques says consideration can also be made to help inmates find work based on their attitudes. In the meantime, he would like to see them write exams in other subject areas.
They may go on to the math. Some of them will be discharged, but yeah, we're looking to do a second or third subject. Okay. Yeah. So at least when they leave, at least they will have 3 subjects under the belt. So that can afford them to find employment in the society. The society can be an unforgiving society. I think we've made enough gains in terms of not looking down, not stigmatizing persons who've come from prison. Some of them have great skill. There are a lot of great craftsmen. And again, sometimes when you're in the prison, it gives you time to do a bit of reflection, to look at yourself and put your mind and your hands to work.
A new river wall to be constructed in the housing scheme area in Canefield expected to play a key role in protecting life and property. Residents of River Estate and surroundings should have that new wall in place to protect not only homes in the area but the road to River Estate and Cochrane within 12 weeks. The Minister for Public Works and Ports, Senator the Honorable Miriam Blanchard, was present for the recent signing of the $787,000 contract.
This quick action by your government highlights our commitment to the well-being and safety of citizens of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, never doubt your government's commitment to work in the best interest for all Dominicans. On completion of this new river wall, it will protect all of the homes along the river, allowing occupants to sleep more peacefully during weather events and flooding of that river.
That river wall project forms part of government's post-Erica plan to build back better than before.
One has to take into consideration that we are approaching the hurricane season. And I would like to see that that project itself is executed with dispatch and at the same time not compromising the quality and the integrity of the work to be undertaken.
There are other components of the work to be undertaken in the Canefield East and RBC housing area.
Just before Carnival, we met there and the villagers of Canefield actually advised the Member of Parliament as to the roads that should be undertaken, you know, in a sequential manner. And based on your advice, you said to me that Canefield East to you were more critical. And then you said to me, secondly, the RBC Housing Scheme road would be the next priority road. So that is where we have been able to do that. But I want to say to you further that we have been able to do the designs along with the estimates for all the outstanding works to be done in our roads in Canefield, and I think that is commendable. So we shall be there again very soon to have those signing of those contracts. To say further, I know there are a number of outstanding issues. We have done tremendous work, and I really want to commend the Minister and the Ministry for the manner in which you have been able to respond, because you may realize that Mao constituency, more so the Canefield Checkwell area, we actually suffered a lot from Erica. And we have tremendous challenges still in Checkwell Valley, and of course higher up, River Estate. There are 4 critical areas that have been identified by the Ministry to be dredged.
You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, bus drivers making adjustments following the opening of the new West Bridge. Thank you for staying with us. A challenge issued to local historians to start focusing on and rewriting the history of the original people of Dominica, the Kalinagos. The Minister for Kalinago Affairs issued the challenge at the recent launching of Domfesta 2017, where the magazine, The Heritage of Kalinago People Volume 2, was released.
I believe that the indigenous people, they have contributed significantly towards the development of Dominica. And historians agree that it is because of the Kalinago people that we were able to understand Mother Nature and preserve Dominica and preventing the colonizers from overtaking our land. So I really want to salute the Kalinago people. And also the culturally minded people within the community, Carifuna, Karina, and the other emerging cultural groups. We want to thank you all for keeping the Kalinago culture. It is going to instill in us a new sense of pride in the 21st century.
The arts have been and will continue to be an immensely significant and invaluable component of our cultural capital, more so our indigenous art. Every culture is unique, and Dominica is doubly special because of our Kalinago people, their history and their culture. And on this occasion, as we celebrate the magazine, we celebrate literature and books. In Dominica, we have produced a number of writers over the generation, and it's not often we have an opportunity to launch books, and in particular, as it has to do with our whole Creole and Kalinago history. The book has documented aspects of Kalinago architectural traditions, and we would do well if those are incorporated into our modern day contemporary designs. These are features which are unique, and it would benefit well if those find its way in our tourism products. The descriptions of the Kalinago art in the magazine is important. The description of the calabash art, the descriptions given of the Kalinago cuisine, and the rich traditions of cassava making, the documentation of the dances. These are just a few areas I am highlighting in the magazine.
The new magazine project began during the tenure of former Chief Cultural Officer Raymond Lawrence. Meantime, the art gallery at the Old Mill Cultural Center is being upgraded to serve as a national gallery. It will serve as a permanent home for the display of Dominican art. This year's Domfesta includes a special event called International Fiesta, featuring cultural aspects of Africa, Cuba, France, and Venezuela, to be showcased at the Old Mill Cultural Center. The goal is to promote the appreciation of the culture of certain countries involved in our economic development. This is Domfesta's 34th year. And at least one group of bus drivers has returned to their original bus stop following the opening of the new West Bridge. During the construction phase of the project, the stock farm bus drivers had been moved from Stieber Street in Pottersville to Great George Street, Roseau, sharing a bus stop with the Maho bus drivers.
Now that the bridge is open, the stock farm bus drivers that was at in the Malcolm Stevens area, they have returned to normal, so they have returned to their normal bus stop.
Representative of the stock farm bus drivers says while they are happy to be back home, they are going through a slow period.
We enjoy being back here, although they hasn't do everything for us because our signs haven't been up and the bus stop haven't a write-off, but we are back here. And we feel comfortable with it. Our customers are comfortable with it at least, because most people talk about the distance they had to walk here and then over there, making the large rounds and so on. But right now, we're much better with that. Just that, we're not going to the meter this summer. It's going to be a little bit tight for us, but we're gonna, once the customers are there, we can make out with that.
Meantime, other groups of bus drivers have to wait a bit longer to return to their original location on the riverbank.
However, the bus stop for the St. Joseph, Maho, Canefield, etc., that was out in the Pizza Palace area along riverbank, they are to remain where they are until we inform them or until further notice. Prior to the commencement of the bridge, we had met the police had met the bus drivers and informed them that they would be temporarily relocated along River Street and Great George Street, respectively. And even if now the new bridge is open, we are not quite ready for them to return because there is still some more work to be done there. And it doesn't make sense to send them back there, and very soon we have to remove them again.
A northeastern group is positioning itself to capitalize on the garment-making trade as it has secured a market in Martinique. The 38-year-old Northern District Progressive Women's Club is working with a Martinique fashion designer on this front.
Because of competition, we have lost some of our markets. But right now we are training with a tutor from a French tutor known as Madame Belmer. She has a business in Martinique, and she's training us in fashion designing to sew for her business.
Bani says the group has also landed a deal with Range Developments, the company developing the Kempinski luxury hotel brand at Douglas Bay in Portsmouth.
He's going to use a program to give free uniforms to school children, needy school children. He's engaging us to produce garments for the schools, all the schools in Dominica, but to begin with is the secondary schools.
That's news. Your sports highlights next with Kenny Williams.
First up in sports, West Indies captain Jason Holder says his team understands the importance of the third test and are ready for the task at hand. West Indies and Pakistan are gearing up to play their third test on Wednesday.
Mentally, I think everybody's in pretty good spirits. You know, we're going into a series final game, 1-1. So everybody's up for it. We understand the importance of this series, and we know what's at stake. What's happened in Barbados is gone already. It's important we put that behind us. Not forget what the good things we've done there. We obviously need to improve on a few areas. Fielding is one, especially taking our chances. And I think once we forget that as quickly as possible and move on to this game, it's better for us.
He says Ms. Bawulak and Eunice Khan have left a lasting impact on the overall cricketing product.
Both two creditable players for Pakistan, not only for Pakistan but for world cricket. I think they've done a lot for the game. They've moved the game along, they've helped youngsters and groomed youngsters in their team. For me, credit must go to the way they perform in their careers, and I want to wish them all the very best in their future endeavors.
Meantime, Pakistan's captain says his team is looking to make history in the third decisive test.
Pressure is always there, I think, wherever you are playing international games, so pressure is there because you want to win every game, and I think that is a special game for us. We got a chance, just make history, so we'll be looking forward, and we'll just try to get a win. Looking forward to be a normal game and focus on our jobs, especially as a player. That's more important, especially as a batsman. I think contributions of Eunice and me would be very important in this game. So just focusing on that. Sometimes emotions can come into these sort of occasions, but I think we'll just try our best to focus on our job. Yeah, regrets is always there. You always believe that you could have done better, you could have just achieved this and that, but I think if you have given everything what you got, you have given you 100%, then there are no regrets, because obviously you are playing against oppositions, and sometimes you have to give credit to them, and they are better than you, they play better than you, then you can only try. So no regrets. I think pretty happy that I have given whatever I got.
Meantime, Marpin Sports took to the streets to find out how some of the Dominican public feels about the West Indies versus Pakistan third test scheduled to begin on Wednesday.
I believe they will do well based on the way they played in Barbados. The bowling has been good, and we are looking forward for the batsmen, the top order batsmen, to come on good this time. And they did not do too well in Barbados, so we're looking for them to come on good in Dominica, and I believe they will do well. And we're looking forward for a strongly contested West Indies team in Dominica, and we know that Dominican people usually turn out to watch cricket, so we expect a good crowd in Dominica. Well, I believe they do stand a chance because we have Alzari Joseph, we have Shannon Gabriel bowling very well, and we have Bishu, a good backup spinner. So I believe with the crowd support in Dominica, they stand a good chance of taking this series 2-1.
Well, what I think they will do, they will learn example from the one they won in the last one they win. So they better try to win they win the last one, they better try to win that one to make us proud.
Well, I think West Indies got a chance of winning the test series. Hopefully them guys can go out there and do their best, bowl, and but long as possible. The batting is the problem. Consistently, they cannot go out there and bat long. That's the only problem they got. But for sure, the bowling right now is on top. At the Windsor Park Stadium, I know the wicket is a batting wicket. If you go there and you put your head down to bat, it is there for everybody. So I guess the guys can go there and bat long and put out a victory for the West Indians.
It is not something that we don't know. I mean, I know before West Indies was playing good, but right now it is so unpredicted to me. See, they can do good because of the crowd that will be in Dominica, but sometimes they may not do good because we know that they are not consistent in playing cricket, you see, right now. But I just wish them that they do good, you see, because for Pakistan to be living where they are and for them to be coming down and take all this, it is not looking good for us because it will throw us right down to the gutter. So I just wish them that they do good. It is a booster for them, but what about Pakistan? Pakistan is looking forward for that too, for them to have a whitewash, you see, and then Pakistan is a more experienced team than West Indies, you see, so therefore they might have a different technique or a different method to play, you see, and then I know that they will be doing that, they will use it, but I just hope West Indies take their head and then play good and then try to win because it will be a boost for them also too.
Sports continues with football, where Dominica State College has booked a spot in the finals of the DFA Sports Division Secondary School Girls League by pounding Pierre Charles Secondary 8-0 recently. Romelcia Phillip registered a beaver trick, with Michelin Morgan adding 3. Claret Obat scored 1. With this win, State College will face Dominica Grammar School in the finals at a date to be announced. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us next time.
We now check in with the Met Office for the latest weather update.
Good evening. Welcome to the weather report and forecast. I am Viola Pascal. The infrared satellite imagery show multi-layered clouds lingering across the northern Caribbean, and this is associated with a dissipating frontal boundary. This area is expected to gradually move towards the east and influence weather conditions across the eastern Caribbean over the next few days. The visible satellite imagery showed that Dominica experienced fair to partly cloudy conditions during the afternoon. This is an improvement from cloudy conditions during the morning period. The radar imagery indicated scattered showers mainly across the northern portion of the island chain. For tonight, expect partly cloudy to cloudy conditions with scattered showers. As instability increases across the area on Wednesday, expect mostly cloudy conditions with shower activity and possible isolated thunderstorms. For the marine forecast, seas are expected to be moderate with waves peaking near 7 feet. Small craft operators and sea bathers are advised to exercise caution. Over the next 3 days, that dissipating frontal boundary is expected to produce cloudy conditions, showers, and possible thunderstorm activity. Persons in areas prone to flooding, landslides, and falling rocks are advised to exercise caution and keep abreast of weather information provided by the Met Service. Across the Caribbean, expect mostly cloudy conditions with scattered showers and possible isolated thunderstorms mainly across the northern and central portion of the area, and scattered showers mainly across the southern portion of the island chain. For the international cities forecast, expect clear skies in New York, Miami, London, and Beijing, and some thunder showers in Caracas. The sun will rise at 5:38 a.m. and set at 6:26 p.m. For further information, call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit the website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing. Do have a good evening.
To end the news, the headlines again: service providers to enhance community tourism through training in brand development. One union leader says a trade union congress will never materialize unless today's unions learn from history and correct past decisions. And 13 prison inmates write their CXC exams as part of a new set of prison reform initiatives. Feel free to contact us at news@mapin2k4.com. You can also access the news or past newscasts on YouTube. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. To our viewers around the world, thank you for watching.